Welcome back to the channel. In today's video I'm going to take you through a full day on a custom painter. We've got a couple of pieces we're doing today. We've got the bits for the Iron Man cover, so if you've not seen these videos on the Iron Man, they are on the channel. It's a full process of painting an Iron Man engine bay on a Lexus. So we've got two more pieces to do. So the first thing we're going to do is prep these up. We're going to do some guide coating. We've got some of the Gold Flex Soft Merca 320 sanding discs, a couple of blocks. We've got a timber block there we can wrap some round, and I've got a soft foam sponge we can wrap a bit round to get around some of these intricate edges. So I'll take you through this process, and it's going to be a whole day in the studio, and you'll see how we get set up to get these custom painted. And it's going to be projecting, transferring artwork, and then we'll get into the painting process, and then eventually these will be clear coated at the end of the video. So enjoy today's video, and I'll see you in some of the time lapses and talk you through as much as I can. See you in a bit. Moving on to the next stage, we've got all these bits prepped up, so they're all nice and prepped. We're going to drop a little bit of white base just to flick over some of these bits that are just starting just to see the faint breakthrough on here, just to cover that up, because we're working a little bit of artwork in there, but we're basically going off of a sort of grey background like I did on the other one. We've got a couple of base coats just to flick over this, just to texture it up and add some textures around here and here. So the next stage on this is to cut some application tape, drop a piece on here, chop it out, we'll drop a piece on here to where the artwork's going to go, and then we're going to start getting set up for projecting up the artwork, sizing that up, penciling it all out, and then we can cut all these intricate pieces out for the two pieces of art. So I'll see you in the next step. I'll get set up and we'll crack on. See you in a bit. Clip, getting all set up. Now these are the bits you don't usually see on camera, and this is what takes time when it's like custom painting. It's sizing up your artwork and getting all this across. Usually on my videos you just see me jumping straight on and I'm cracking on with the artwork, and this is why it takes a long time to do. So I've had to cut this out, project this up, project the piece up on there. We've used tracing paper as well for all the text parts, so we can transfer these across when we come to do the digital display on this. The next stage on this to do is chop out all this, and we'll leave this piece on the board, take the arm out, cut all these intricate pieces out and start spraying on the inside. Same with this, chop this out, leave the outer mask, mask all the back off, and then we can start laying in the individual pieces on this. But we've got to get all set up first with the monitor, get all the bits set up for the paints, airbrushes, get the compressor on, get all the paint mixing done that I need and colours that I need for this. There'll be about 8 or 9 different colours, different airbrushes. So we'll get set up. So I'll stick you on a time lapse. I'm going to get set up in here with all the tripod and all the bits, and then we can move on to cutting all this out. See you in a bit. in that hyperlapse we got everything set up. Now it is advised to get your area that you're going to work with set up, get all your paint sorted that you're going to be using, all your cleaning products, your stencils, your cut mat, everything you need all set up, and that's what I did in that hyperlapse. So a little pan round. We've got the workstation, and then workstations, they are basically bike stands. So if you want a really cool workstation, guys, buy a bike stand from Outlet at 30 quid, and they can adapt to everything you need. As you can see there, I've put a sloped aluminium piece here, and that holds the artwork. We've got the TV monitor that slides on the top, and it's on a tripod. You can adjust the height. Really, really good bit of kit. You can mount tanks to this, fenders to it, use it as spray stand, anything you want. So a really good bit of kit. Tripod with a flat top, that's what I use for the projector. So just clamp an airbrush holder, put the paints on top, so that's good to go. Trestle this side with a cut mat, all the bits I need for cutting out. We've got the paints sorted, and then we've got the solvent base as well, because we're using solvent and water on this. So we're going to do solvent base coats. We've got a gold, a red, we've got the hyper silver. I've just put some white high build on here, just where them breakthroughs were. I've just put a coat of white high build on. Let this go off while we're working on that, and we can lightly sand that off, and that's a good surface to go. Now the next stage on this that usually you don't see on camera is getting my image across to this television. Now these are USB stick TVs in the back. They're not sort of like smart TVs where you can just ping the image across. I've got to get the image from the tablet across to a USB stick. Now the only way I can do that is plug the tablet into the laptop, transfer the image across there, pull the image across to this, and then this will go into the back of the TV, and then we've got both images that we're working on, and I can scroll through on the TV, zoom it in, and work on the arm, and then work on the piece for this. So that's the next stage to do, but definitely advise get your workstation set up, get all your things sorted before you paint. There's nothing worse as a beginner jumping into it, and then you're painting for a couple of seconds, and then you're looking for stuff. You're backwards and forwards around your house or wherever, and you're looking for all these bits. So get them all laid out and sorted first, and it just makes your life a lot easier when you come to paint, and a lot more efficient. It just makes you work a lot more efficient. So I'm going to get this artwork sorted. I'll see you in a bit. I'll drop you in the time lapse, and we'll start chopping the arm out and the piece for the airbox. See you in a bit. Right guys, you see them little time lapses, we've dropped the Iron Man arm down. I'll give you a little pan round. So we've got the details in, went in sort of nice and light. I started off with a flat red, just one coat of solvent red, went in with that, then just worked around the arm. You see me work around the arm, just put the reds in, I masked off the gold, then we dropped the gold in, which is this one here. put the gold in, and then I went in with a metallic red over the top and just dusted in areas with a metallic red. Then I went in with a water-based darker red and just gave it that sort of rosy type red effect on it. So it's got 3 stages of red. Dropped the darks in and just sort of free-handed all this around here. Went in just holding a few stencils, free-handed all around the hand. And then just put the highlights in with some scratch backs, put some white in, and just erased back over the metallic red. It just was knocking it back to the original red. So you got your 3 tones of red, got all the gold in. So when we demask this now, it will really pop against the grey. We've got the drop shadow to do around the bottom, which will make it stand off. And then I'm going to do the wires coming out the end here, just coming out the arm and all rolling round. And then we'll drop my logo in, a few textures, and that one will wrap that one up. So it's nice, quick, easy to do. It's nice to work with application tape. If you want a real nice sharp image, just put your application tape down, and then you can work within the application tape, so you're getting no overspray on the outer. And you'll see when I demask this, it'll really pop off the screen. So I'll flip it back on the tripod, demask it, and we can move on to the next stage. That's the piece demasked, and this is what I mean by it just pops off the actual panel, because you've got your real sharp edges. Looks like really photorealistic now to the image. So what we can do now is to make this look more sort of even more popped off, we can drop the drop shadow that comes around the bottom of the arm here, and then just drop it off the fingers here like that, and that will make it stand off even more. Just a little faint one around the top. Then we can go back in and pop a few more highlights out, and that will really pop that off. So I'll stick it back on a time lapse. I'll get the drop shadow in, and then we can start doing the textures. I've got my logo to drop in, which I might drop around here, in the centre down here, and then we've got the wires, and we'll do all the drop shadows on the wires to make them pop. We've got the hyper silver to go on as well, just a little bit of dust in a hyper silver, and then this one will be done. So I'll stick it back in the time lapse. Drop the textures in and give you a little pan round. So we've got all the intricate textures, and I've done little scratch backs so they look like they're sort of going in. Done my logo under the fingers with the drop shadow over the top, so it looks like it's underneath. More textures coming round. So that piece is done. We've just got to do the wires coming out the arm, and these wires will come over these bits round like that. There's going to be a few wires coming out of these holes here as well, just wrapping around, just to finish it off. So we're nearly done. About another half hour, and this will be ready for clear coat, and then we can move on to the next piece. So I'll stick in another time lapse, and we'll drop these wires down. See you in a bit. We have got the arm in. You've seen in them little time lapses I was dropping the wires in. Basically put a piece of application tape on, drew some little wires, moved it over to the cut mat, cut them out, placed it back on, and then just painted some white base coating first, just to get so I could get the colour up, and then went over with the colours. So I'll give you a little pan round. So there's the wires in. We've done the little drop shadows on the wires, and on the ends of the wires I've done some copper colour on the ends, just to give it the frayed look on the ends of them. We've got the textures in, drop shadow on the arm, my logo this side with the drop shadows over the top, so it looks like it's going under the fingers, and a couple of wires coming out the top. So that one's finished. The next thing to do on that is wipe it down with panel wipe, and that'll get any excess overspray that's landed. You can just wipe it off, and you'll notice that when you airbrush, if you panel wipe it after once it's dry, you'll get colour coming off on your rag, and it's just the overspray that's misted over and landed, but that'll clean up and that'll come out really nice. These colours will pop once this is clear coated. So that one's finished. We can move on to the airbox, and it'll be exactly the same sort of process. Cut the stencil out, place the stencil on, we'll mask out the other bit and just start painting it from the reference on the screen. So I'll see you in the next piece. Done. Now I left you off and I was cutting out the piece of artwork for the multimeter, so I basically painted it the same way as the arm, just inlaying the little pieces, paint a bit, move a bit, and then sort of work my way as you've seen in the time lapse. I'll give you a little pan round now. I'll put a video up in the top corner and I'll talk you through. So that's the airbox. As you can see in the video above, this is going to go to the left hand side. So we've got the realistic multimeter on there with the little bits of text in. We've dropped all the textures in and around here. I've done the little tiny little highlights in these little bits so they look like they're actually burnt in. So that's all the textures matching across to the arm. Now this arm on the original one, we had troubles with the plastic, so it started to peel back, so I had to repaint an arm, and we've made a aluminium template to fit on that part of the engine bay. So you can see in the video clip where the arm is, that's where this panel will sit now on there and bolt to the front of the engine. And then the air ducting will go underneath this panel through into this box here. So that's how it will be. So I hope you've enjoyed these bits on this so far. We'll move on to the next stage, which will be clear coating. So I'll take you through a clear coat stage on these two pieces. But the next thing that I have to do is gut the studio, pack everything away, take all this down, the light down, get the trestle set up, give it a really good clean down in here to keep it dry and keep it dust free as possible, blow everywhere out. I'll take you through the clear coat stage, just a couple of coats of clear on these two pieces. We're going to use the DV1S, which is a Smart Jet minigun, which is ideal for bits like this. Capsy clear coat, which will be a standard 2-to-1 mix with 10% thinners. A couple of coats of clear and we'll be finished. So I'll see you in the next step. Guys, in them little time lapses you see me sort of set everything up, clean everything down, blew out all the studio, wetted the floor, gave it a good clean down, and then I cleaned the two pieces with panel wipe degreaser, and it took a bit of the overspray paint off, cleaned it down, tack racked, blew it off, got the VersaFlow set up, and then we dropped 2 coats of the Capsy on this. I'll give you a little pan round, show you how it's done. So nice and glossy now on these panels. Really brought the colours out on all the textures and the actual artwork. So a little nib and polish on this. Once this is gone off, I'll just flat over the top and then just buzz the mop over the top of that, and that'll be done. So it's all finished, guys. So I hope you've enjoyed it. The full day on custom painting, and it just gets you a look at what you have to do to achieve these sort of things with your artwork, the stages you have to go through from the prep to even sort of hunting your artwork down, because you can be sitting for hours and hours on the internet looking for artwork, the right sort of sizes and the shapes and the way the drop shadows will sit when you're looking into an engine bay and looking down at it. You look down at this one and that's where the drop shadow will be. You look down at this one and this is where the drop shadow will be on the hand. So it can be a lot of time sourcing artwork. Then we went through the stages of projecting it, cutting it all out, application tape, and then working the pieces, and then dropping all the airbrush artwork down, and then clear coat to finish. So if you're liking the content, don't forget, click that subscribe, press that notification, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers, guys.